Hello everybody, this is Jane Orlov, and today I am excited to do a Facebook Live for my Norway community in the Asante Organics Leaders Secret Facebook group. So I am excited to see if anybody joins us. I already see Joanna is liking, so that's awesome. I wanted to share a little bit about my story anyway, if you are new or maybe you didn't hear it. So I came from Russia when I was 17 years old. I came to the United States, and in Russia, my whole life practically I skipped most of the school because I had severe allergies. I was always coughing, sneezing, and I thought I had chronic illness. And all my life, because of that, I felt really low self-esteem, very self-doubting, because I skipped the traditional schooling. So the inner playing in my head was, you're not good enough, you skipped education, you're really dumb, you're stupid, and things like that. That was my what I had in my head, and that affected the way that I thought, the way that I acted, and the way that I basically, through this lens, I saw the world. And what we really need to work on, what I love about this business is personal development, is the aspect of it, because you want to better yourself, and in order to better yourself and advance in a company leading people, you need to first experience the transformation in your mind, and our minds is the most important. And so continuing forward, I came to United States. I again dropped out of college because it was expensive. So the head tape continued. Then I got married to a gentleman that was older than me, and he did not help with, he also kind of made when he talked to me, he made assumptions. Oh yeah, you don't know that. Oh yeah, you don't know this. You don't know that. So that further, my self-esteem further declined, and that was my environment. That's the only thing I saw. The people around me talked, the way that I talked to myself, and I thought, I will never be successful. The success is for somebody else that has high education, that is striving for great career. And what I realized, I started following a lot of successful people in network marketing in other companies, not just the company that I was with. And I learned that in our career, a lot of people who are successful, they were either high school dropouts, college dropouts like me, or they were just not really good. Either they had mental challenges or physical challenges like dyslexia, or they were just not good in structured education. And what I learned then, I expanded further, and I started reading of all the successful people that are in the world that don't have education. And what I realized is that we are, since the time we're born, we are getting programmed by our environment, but what we see, what we hear from our parents, from our friends, and then we start school. We are programmed by how our peers, our friends, our teachers, our television, our music we listen to. Everything is getting absorbed in our head. And what happened is that was all I knew. And I was always focusing on everything negative. I was always focusing on, oh, who's gonna listen to me? Nobody. I'm a nobody. I'm not gonna be able to achieve nothing. And that was really, really crucial for me to start changing what I absorbed in my mind. So I decided to turn off the TV completely, to only look for the information online on my computer. that helped me. I love listening to interviews of people who are successful now, what they went through. I love listening to personal development tapes, to mindset tapes. I love law of attraction. I believe in what we think about and what we focus on comes into our lives, and it truly works like a law of gravity. I do believe. So I started. I completely blocked everything out. I started listening and absorbing all this information. And when I first started this, I could not talk. It's like when I was learning English, when I lived in Russia, I learned English, but I could not talk. I only knew because it was not enough time put in, and I didn't have practice. So when I came to United States, I could read English, I could listen to English and understand what they were saying, but I could not talk because it was just not, it's like you have a sponge and it's dry and nothing is dripping out of the sponge unless it's so wet, it's overflowing, then the water starts flowing. The same is with us. If we have to fill our sponge or our cup so full that it actually spills out into others, and we can speak freely. So I could not talk English, and then I practice, and now I speak English. Same was when I started network marketing. I was in my headset, listening to all these stories, all this training, all this mindset. And then one day somebody would ask me a question, and I would be able to answer the question and I was really surprised at the way that I answered it, because I didn't know I could answer it, because my mind was so full of this information and subconsciously. So what happens, I wanted to talk to you guys, there's 4 stages of our, the way that we function. So first is unconscious incompetence, and then it's conscious incompetence, then it's conscious competence, and then it's unconscious competence. What it means, competence means that you are capable, you're capable of doing something. So first, unconscious incompetence means we don't know that we can't do it because we are not aware. It's kind of like you are growing, you were just born and you're starting walking, crawling, and you are now in a stage where you have to tie your shoes. Or drive a car, or any in that matter, and you don't know that you can't tie shoes because you've never tried it. You're not aware that you cannot tie shoes. Then somebody asks you, your parent asks you, you have to tie the shoes, and you're trying and you cannot do it. So you become conscious that you are incompetent in a particular skill. So the second stage, you are aware that you cannot do it, but you cannot do it. Either you are aware that you need to start driving, but you cannot drive yet. Or you are aware that you need to learn a particular skill of speaking or talking to people, but you're not comfortable doing it yet. Then with practice, you become consciously competent. So you start tying the shoes and you're doing a good job, or you start driving and you're already aware that you're driving, but your conscious focus is all on that particular task. So it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of mind focus, because like you're really tying the shoes or you're driving. And I remember the first time I drove on a freeway, I couldn't move my neck after that, because you're really like focused. And so that called consciously competent. And then with practice, you do it over again, you become unconscious. You can do it, you're competent, but it's unconscious. You can drive and you can talk on the phone at the same time. You're not even paying attention if you pressing the gas or the brake. You are doing it unconsciously as it became a habit. The same with tying your shoes. You can do it and you don't have to put so much force and you're naturally doing it. So that means that you're now doing it unconsciously competent. Everything we do in life, anything we learn, that has 4 stages. First, we need to become aware it, then we have to learn it, and then we have to repeat and repeat and repeat it unless it becomes second nature to us. So any task, so when I was listening to all of these different tapes of people who could speak and answer questions, and they were talking so freely, and I could not open my mouth and say 2 words, what I had to do is I played the tape, and I stopped and I paused it and I would write it down. And I, like sentence by sentence, I would write everything I was just listening to, because when you're just listening to the information, it gets into your head differently than if you read it or if you write it. If you write it, it's the best thing, because you write it and then you read it, and then you, at the same time, you can, basically I was doing it like learning a poem. Like in Russia, they do a lot of poem learning. So that's what I had to do. And now I'm doing it freely without even being nervous. I remember the first time I had to do a phone call, and I had to get like my kids out of the room. I had to close the doors. It had to be a quiet environment, and I was like preparing for the 3-way call or for a call with my prospect. And then after doing it a while, I came to a Santi Organics event in Arizona, and I was driving in a car with Angie Levine, and she picked me up from the airport, or I don't remember, but we were driving in a car, and we walked into a store, and somebody texted her, and she said, "Yeah, sure, let's talk." And while we were driving and while we parked and walked to a store, she's talking on the phone about the business. And it was such a surprising moment for me that she's just like naturally babbling. Doesn't matter that there's noises outside. Doesn't matter anything around it. Hello, Ellen. So that gave me, like, it was a little bit of a shock that you can do it. And now it doesn't matter what's my schedule is like. I can always schedule 3-way calls for anybody who needs it on my team, because I know that I can do it. And if the environment is loud, I can, I can tell people, we are doing it, from home, and the kids are running around, or please pardon me, the noise in the back, or so it doesn't really, you don't get, like, as long as you do it, at first you're really nervous. At first you're really nervous to talk to anybody, and the more you do it, you realize people are not gonna bite you. Some people who are angry at you, you don't have to continue a conversation, and you don't have to, if somebody is really negative, you can say, I'm sorry, I realize it's not for everybody, probably it's not the best fit for you. So you kind of don't have to chase every person. And as long as you imagine in your head, like I remember when I was starting out, I would say, I had like 3 people on my team, and usually when you start out, you have all this time, and we fill this time in learning, training, and then because we have so many time and so little people on our team, we tend to spend a lot of time on explaining things to our prospects, ourselves, and talk a lot. And sometimes the less we talk and the more we listen to other people and just guide them to the video or to the audio, it's the best thing, because they might not realize it, but subconsciously they can say, oh, all she did is she showed me a link or a video, I could do it. But if we are so, like, I could talk on the phone for an hour and a half, and I explain all the benefits of network marketing, I can explain all the benefits of the product, I can explain this and this. Instead, I say, hey, you know what, we have a list of product videos, I'm gonna send you a link. If you have any questions, let's chat again. Or, hey, you don't know a lot about network marketing, let me send you to a getting started training, or let me send you this documentary that explains the vision and how this business model works, and we'll connect later. So that's the best thing. Even I can, and I know the knowledge how to explain it. I don't spend all this time on the phone with people, because what it does, if we do that, subconsciously they think, oh, she's good at it because she knows all of that. In order for me to get good at it, I have to learn and know all of this, and it will take years. So it's probably, I don't even want to get involved, and I don't have time for all of this learning and things like that. But I tell people we need to realize that anything we focus on expands, and a lot of people are distracted. And what worked for me is that I saw people doing maybe different. Yes, Joanna, tools are really easy to duplicate, not personality, because you could be really, like, I'm introverted, but there are some people that are really, really outgoing, and they're friendly, and they can talk to people, and people love them, and it might be easier for them to build a business. But if the other person on their team is not that, it will be harder for that person to build. So it's better to guide everybody to the tools. And I don't know if you've heard that example, but at one of the events they did an experiment, and it was really visual for me. So on one side of the room, the leader whispered. So there were like an event, and there were a lot of people, let's say 100 people on one side of the room and 100 people on the other side of the room. So the leader said, okay, on the left side, what we'll do is I'll whisper something in your ear, and then you'll whisper it to the next person, whisper it to the next person, whisper it to the next person. And we'll hear what the 100th person, what they understood. And on the other side of the room, the leader wrote a sentence on a piece of paper, and he gave it to a person, and then he said, you can just pass on this paper around to each person, and then the 100th person will tell us what they understood. So on the left side, where I apologize, I had a call come in. So on the left side, where you had all this whispering going on, the message got completely distorted. The 100th person heard a completely different sentence, and it was a lot longer. On the right side, everybody was just passing on the same piece of paper, and then the 100th person got the same sentence that everybody else got. So 100 people got exactly the same education, basically, right? And it was faster, and you didn't have to mess with the mess on the left side. So that's why, even though we know a lot, it's better to guide people to the tools. If somebody has some questions, okay, here's the frequently asked questions. And if somebody on your team has questions, guide them to the same tool. Here's getting started guide. Go through the steps. And if somebody on your team getting started, send them to the same training. If somebody on your, has product questions, send them this information, right? So it's easier to point. However, when you are learning, the majority of the business skills you would need to develop is your personal growth and your mindset. Because when we are believing in something really hard, and we're focusing and we're really longing this, we need to be excited and say, okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It's something like you ordered something in the, online, and it's coming, and you are not fearful. Oh, is it coming or is it not? Is it coming or is it not? I don't know if it's coming. And not be doubtful, but be anticipating and exciting, of expecting it to come your way. And that is how part of the law of attraction works. If you're focusing on something and saying, oh, I'm gonna have 10 people on my team this month, and be in a good vibration, then people will feel your energy, and people will feel your vibe. So when I was just starting out and I had a few people on my team, at first I had to learn this skill. I had to learn that only focus on the positive, never doubt anything, and if it's happened for somebody else, be excited for them and know that it's possible, and it will happen for you as well. If you are persevering, if you're focused, if you put the energy in, if you do the steps. So I was imagining having big teams when I had nobody, and when somebody would reach out to me, I would say, well, if I had 100 people on my team, if I had, 1,000 people on my team, what would I say? How would I respond? Would I be begging and trying, pretty please join me, I need your sign-up bonus? Or would I say, hey, I have such a thriving business, and there's the gift, and I see that you actually need to improve your health, or you're looking for side income. Here's an opportunity. Would you like me to give you more information? Would you be open to learning more? And that's a completely different posture from my end. If I had a huge team, how I would respond, or if I had a little team and I would beg and shake everybody else. So you need to envision yourself like, I am this I have this prosperous team. I have so many people to talk to. I don't have to beg and choose. So it's actually good for them that they found me. They're the lucky ones that actually stumbled upon me. Just see yourself as this amazing person that has this gift of organic products, and you have a fountain of youth, and you have a vehicle of producing income on better than in the corporate world, and they actually are lucky to be bumped into you. They're lucky that you reached out to them. So just look at it this way, and you will attract the right people. You will attract the people who are really looking for this. We're praying for this, and you are the answer to their prayer, versus trying to bug and beg and chase and people and pretty please, maybe you will be interested. So, but it takes time. Before, when I started, I even was really insecure, and I was embarrassed that it was a network marketing. Somebody would say, is it one of those things? And I would say, well, and I would get really stuck because I didn't really believe that it would work. But the more people I met that were successful doing it, and that they were proud of doing it, and the more I learned how this vehicle works without advertising, that people are it's just a different model, that we are basically the advertising budget for the company, and we get paid after the sale, so it works for us and for the company. And you have to realize also that it takes time to build a team. It takes time to build a customer list. And the first year or two, it's really frustrating because we don't see a lot of results. And my first year was really slow. I earned maybe $300 in the whole year, and then it was more and more, and then the team grew and they developed and they doubled. And it depends on the duplication. Like if a lot of people do a little bit, it's a lot better than only a few people doing a lot. So that's why duplication is so important. And I love that you guys have already a product group where you can invite people to learn more about the products. That's the easiest way. And I can talk also about it's important to attend meetings, because when you attend meetings, you build belief that if a leader in front of the room can do it. Like I remember the lady that invited me to my first company prior to Asante, she was a vice president of a bank, and she had a great posture. And I was like looking at her, and I was a housewife, and I was looking at her, how she would carry herself in front of the room and talk to people so positively. And I'm like, well, she's a vice president of a bank. I would never do it. I cannot do it. I'm like, for me just to stand up and say a few words in front of the room, I would get like so red and so nervous. I couldn't put two words together. And she was just like, and I was thought, oh, it's for her because she can do it. And I could never like associate. One time we went to the company convention, and we actually shared a room in the hotel. And when I saw her without the makeup, without the business suit clothing, and she was just like a regular person, and I was just like, maybe if I practice a lot, maybe I can do it. So the more that you are like professional and people think, well, it's good for them, they can do it. So for me, when I started doing videos in my robe and like I was, so people saw that, oh, if she can do it, I can do it too. So don't be too professional looking if you have the skills of public speaking, or if you have already the, you know, just try to be like a regular person, because you are trying to not impress somebody, you are trying to get the other person you're talking to realize that they can do it too. So the less complicated you show the whole process, the easier it would be for the other person to realize that they can also learn this. And I also wanted to, what else did I want to say? I recently heard a training on Ray Higdon's event. I was learning the live streaming, and Jessica was teaching about your first 90 days. Like, pretend that you're starting your first 90 days again. And she said, like, have this, I printed out the graph, and you probably can see it backwards. But she said, we are underestimating, we are overestimating what we can do in a year, but we are underestimating what we can do under a longer period of time. So at first we really go hard, and then if we don't see results fast enough, we burn out and we give up, and we basically say, well, it's not gonna work. It probably worked for them because they did this, or it's not gonna work for me. So she said, for a 12-month plan on Facebook, if you reach out to 300 people a month, so that's 10 people a day, and basically you reach out to them, and then if just 10% of those 30 people will watch your presentation, and let's say half of those that watch the video would like to get on the phone with you, so 15 people in a month would like to talk on the phone with you, and let's say 5 people of those 15 will buy products, or they will decide to do that as a business. So let's say you did sign up 5 people in a month, and you continued every month for a year, you would have talked to 3,650 people, and you would show 360 presentations. You would schedule 180 appointments on the phone, and you would sign up 60 people in 1 year. And that seems more realistic when you break down the numbers. And if you are able to reach out to 10 people on Facebook. And she also gave a few scripts that are similar to what I've been implementing and what worked for me. And also, I want to let you know that in Asante Organics especially, how the compensation plan works, you don't need a gazillion of people to make a good income. For example, me, I personally sponsored in 6 years, almost 6 years I've been with the company, I sponsored 200 people personally. Most of them are just customers buying products. Only 12 people that I personally brought in are building a business as a business, and they're doing like duplication, right? So me, I'm matching 100% because I'm a platinum. I'm matching 100% of 12 people on my team, and that makes 6-figure income a year. So you don't need 1,000 people that you personally sponsor and that build a business. You just need a core few people that see the vision and they duplicate, okay? Because a lot of people, they love the products, but they're not doing anything. So you just need to do the training that you don't need a lot of people to do a little bit, but as long as you duplicate and everybody does a little bit, and you only need a few people, your core people that you match their checks, you can make a good career, full-time career out of this. And so what Jessica was saying is that I printed out this message, and she said, if you reach out to somebody on Facebook that you don't know and you say, hey, Nancy, can I ask you a question? We've been friends on Facebook for this amount of time and we have never actually really connected. I was wondering if you've been seeing my posts lately. It's great to connect with you, by the way. I see that you're doing this and this and this. So whatever you saw on their timeline. And if she says, no, I haven't seen your posts, then you can say, oh, that's weird. Facebook settings are confusing. I was wondering because you said this and this on your profile, and I thought that my posts might help you. Well, it's great to connect. And if they say, yeah, I see a lot of your posts, you can say, yeah, okay, awesome. I was always wondering if Facebook friends can see my things. And I see that you said this on your Facebook, so I thought that some of my posts may help. And also, if you see anybody talking about health or anything, you can actually invite them and use the ATM system and invite them to your product group. Just reaching out to people that usually we have already a group of people that we have on our Facebook, but we just feel uncomfortable reaching out to people and just start a few conversations. So this would be the conversation to say, hey, do you see my posts? Oh, okay, I'd love to, that my friends see my posts, and then initially invite them to the group to learn more about the products. However, this is a different message. I'm gonna give you a different message that they also said. This is for people who you actually know, and but you know them, but you never told them about the business, and you feel uncomfortable, and you can say, hey, Martha, long time no talk, how are you? And then wait for them to respond. And when they say the response, you can proceed and say, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm not here to catch up with you. This is not the reason I'm reaching out to you. Although I do want to do that at some point. I remember you being super sharp and outgoing, and I thought of you. I'd love to run a business idea past you for a side project that I'm doing. Would you be open to taking a look at it? It involves marketing organic products or chatting about it. So being basically honest and not beat around the bush, and not like, those are for people that you already know, but you haven't told them that they don't know what you're doing, or you haven't asked them directly. So you can say that, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm not here to, have a small talk. I actually wanted to ask you if you would be interested in marketing organic products from home and earn referral commissions for that, or do you know somebody who might be interested in that? So that's another topic. And that, I know sometimes you think, oh, that is bold. I would never be able to do it. I'm so nervous. But I really encourage you, as long as you reach out to people. Like, a lot of people have hang-ups and they don't ask people. And I used to be one of those people. It's because we all care about what other people think of us. Oh, if I ask you the question, she will probably think I'm, doing one of those things. I'm trying to rip off people, or, she's doing this weird stuff. And I really, really cared of what my friends thought. And once I started the network marketing business, none of my friends wanted to do anything with it. They didn't see me as a successful business person. They saw me as a stay-at-home mom that never had success in anything. So they didn't think that this business idea was a good idea. And I was even scared to talk to them about the products either. And that was in my first company. And after I got burned out and everybody laughed at me and said no, I didn't even offer them, when I joined the Santi Organics, that I was doing organic products, because I didn't really want to experience that rejection again. But what we need to realize is that people who are successful, they're always, always, always not understood by the majority of people. And that brings me back full circle to what I'm saying. Now I look at the same situation, what happened like when I was missed the school and I was a college dropout. I had this tape on my head that I'm not smart enough, I did not learn this, I'm not worthy. Now I'm looking at the same situation, but I'm looking from a different lens, and I say, I'm the lucky one. I didn't get programmed all these years in school to be a sheeple, to be like a person that follows what the society wants us to follow. Like they have this certain, oh, this is the plan for you, you have to do this and you have to do this and this is, and if you're out there, you're not following the system, you're weird. Okay, so now I look at the same thing and say, I'm so blessed I didn't get programmed. I'm so grateful and lucky that I didn't go to school and learn all of this, so that my mind was not, I didn't have to retrain my mind. And now I'm looking, okay, I was different. And now when my son had been in school and he has problems following, like if everybody says, okay, now you have to sit down and it has to be a quiet time, and now everybody is doing this and this and this, any mother, like, and the teacher would get complaints because he doesn't want to follow what everybody is doing, and the teacher would complain because that's what they need to do in school. And I understand that, but at home I don't really like say, okay, you didn't follow the teacher, you're a dumbass, you're this. I understand, even though I say you should not distract the group, and you should, it's easier for the teacher if you follow the rules. But I understand that he's probably has an entrepreneurial mind where he doesn't want to form into what the society wants us to follow. And I see a lot of those people, entrepreneurs, who didn't do good in school because they didn't want to be the sheeple that follow whatever the government or whatever the society tells us to do. And that's why I don't watch TV, I don't listen to the radio, I don't want to watch all the negative news, the shooting, the killings, the raping, the whatever. I don't want nothing in my head, because it brings down my emotion and it brings down my joy, and I feel really, really bad emotions. And I don't want to feel bad emotions, because we need to, when we just imagine you are on a disc, okay? We have discs that circle around, and this is a high vibration disc where you feel joy and you feel happy and you feel love and you feel just like, that's why people who are in love, they see the world as a better place than people who are depressed. So just imagine you're trying to climb to a higher disc, and when your vibration really high and you're like just so grateful for everything that's in your life, you're just feeling full of gratitude that you're alive, you're breathing good air, you have clean drinking water, and you're just like joy, you will have more experience of people attracted to your joy and want to be around you no matter what business you're doing. And you're feeling great because you're using great product. But anytime you're either gossip, or you get into you watch negative news, or you watch something scary that you are really the fear is instilling in you, you're dropping down to the lower vibration discs, and that creates much more hard work to get back up. So I completely eliminated anything. And when my mom calls me and says, oh, did you hear this and the Florida shooting and the this and the this, anytime I'm like, Mom, don't tell me nothing, because I don't want to, because sometimes like she tells me things and I see a lot of it, like the Las Vegas shooting or whatever, and I see all these people who died, and I see all their families and their mourning, and they're like, my heart just breaks, and it takes me like few days to recoup and recover so that I can feel again joyful, so that I can focus on my dream. So I highly recommend for everybody, eliminate anything the most possible way. Like I only watch anything that gives me joy, makes me laugh, or provides education for what that I can teach to other people that helped me. So I highly recommend try to avoid anything. It doesn't really matter if you don't know all the negative news around you. The world is still going to continue, but if you know about all of these things, you will be more fearful. And that's why, you know, they even said people who have depression, that have mental challenges, and because they are focusing on all this negative that's going around them, they think the world is falling apart, there's nothing good to live for. There's like every corner you turn, you think people are gonna steal something, people are gonna trick you into something, scam you into something. And that's why we don't really take action with full joy and high energy that will attract the correct people to us. So yeah, I don't know, do you guys have any questions, or should I don't know what else to say. Yeah, so that's awesome. That's awesome when Trish said that I stopped watching TV in 2006 and gave away my TV 4 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. You're very welcome, Catherine. And I just wanted to keep reinforcing you guys, if you are not successful yet, just think of our educational model where we learn while we earn and we increase our team, versus a traditional model where people learn in school for however many years, they learn in college for several years, they learn in university for several years, and then they are not guaranteed employment, and they go, and if they are gonna open their own business, like because profits are better than wages, that's what Jim Rohn said. If you are gonna open your own business, a lot of us come here with the mentality of an employee. You put in the work, you get paid an hour. In business, it works differently. When you have a traditional business, you pay a lot of money, first of all, to get the business. Then you have several years to pay it off, to basically recoup your investment. And then it takes several years to build your customer base. Any business, let it be online business selling something, or let it be restaurant or cleaning business, or any business that is traditional, and then you can see the profits. So here in Asante Organics, we have very little investment. We can recoup our own investment. If you joined with the $4.99 pack, you tell 5 people that join with the same pack, you get your investment back. You're enjoying these products, you're getting your health back, and you're learning all of this. And this training not only helps you educate more people, it helps you in your relationships with your kids, with your spouse, with your significant other, with your friends. You look at everybody different, you stop gossiping, and at least it happened in my situation. I avoid any gossip, I avoid any talk negatively about any person that I know. I try to avoid arguments. I don't like confrontations. I want to see, it says, you're a great inspiration. Yes. I know, guys, I know that you are going to be successful because you are, guys, doing everything that is necessary, because you are learning, you are educating yourself, you are together, and that's what I love about you guys. You're doing it as a group, and all high tide raises all ships. So as long as you don't get depressed or discouraged, because it takes a few years to see the growth. And I know a lot of people get discouraged at the end of their first or second year, and they think, well, I've been doing all this hard work, I'm doing it, but I don't see really any results. What happens is that you see all these successful people who have done network marketing for many years. They've done it 15, 20, 25 years. they all had a few years at the beginning where they were trying to figure it out. They were unsuccessful, they were not confident, they didn't have belief. So it takes a while, but then once your group goes, you don't even know who is doing what anymore, because you get people that are doing, and it's more leveraging, and you can not work as hard later on, and you will be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed that I put in a few years when I had the energy so that I can recoup. Yes, I'm looking forward to see you guys in September. It's gonna be my birthday, so it's gonna be awesome. And September 15th is my birthday. So it's like I said, it's any business, but I see people that have a shorter term vision. They try this, and then maybe I see a lot of people that go to another company, then they try something else, then they try something else, then they try something else. So in 6 years I've been in Asante, I've seen some leaders come in, go away, come back. Some of them came back after trying a few other things. And they almost like, because it's almost, when you have the energy to push a car from a starting point, like to push the car, and then after it's already rolling, it's easier to push, right? So it's hard to push from a starting point, then it's already in motion. So starting something new, it's even harder every time. So I don't remember who said it, but he said it's best to have a 10-year career than 10 one-year careers. And every time it just I want to be honest with you, the first few years are the hardest, because you don't have the belief yet, you don't know if it will work for you yet, you don't really have a lot of confidence, you're still learning. So I want to encourage you to have this plan for at least 5 years, and you will definitely see results after 5 years. And people go to universities for 4 or 5 years, and like I said, they are not guaranteed employment. They have the student loan. I don't know how it works in Norway, but in America, all these young people have a lot of student loans. And it's crazy that the government gives away so much money, and then once they're done studying, they're not guaranteed employment. They have this huge loan that they will have to pay off. So, and I wanted to remind you, I don't know how it works in Norway either, but in United States, all of the expenses that you pay for products, I write them off as taxes because it's a business expense. I write off my cell phone bill, I write off my car miles, I write off my restaurant meals, I write off any trips I take concerning where I talk about my business. I write off all of my products as introduction to other people, because I have a few bottles that I take with me and I sample it out if I meet with anybody. So I don't know, maybe you can do a training and learn how it works in Norway for you guys, but in the United States, it's really all about putting in the work, the ethics, staying focused, staying committed, and seeing a longer-term vision versus a short-term vision. And also, it's almost the same, and I wanted maybe to share with you guys the law of attraction. When I was going through the divorce, when I was going through bankruptcy a few years ago, everything around me was so bad. But I was excited because I learned about this law of attraction, and I put my blinders on and I said, everything is gonna work out. And I closed my eyes and I would envision myself with a big team, with a great car, living in a house of my dreams, and I would envision it, and I feel the emotion. It's really important to feel the emotion than just to dream about it vaguely. And I would imagine talking on stage. I would imagine sharing my story, inspiring other people. And all this happened where I had no people on my team. I was going through the divorce. My ex-husband was always mocking me and saying nobody's gonna watch my videos. My friends laughed at me and said, you seem really inappropriately happy. Most people going through a divorce are really sad and depressed, and they think that their life is basically falling apart. You are really inappropriately happy. And by that time, my mind was so excited. I didn't really care what other people were thinking because none of them supported my business anyway. Now people are saying on Facebook, oh, we're really proud of you. We're really proud of you. Where were they when I was starting out and I was basically begging them for their approval? Nobody cared. They were laughing at me. My friends came over for dinner and said, oh yeah, you're doing one of those things. When you're successful and when you're making money, maybe I'll quit my job and I'll start cooking for you. And they kind of like rubbed it in my face that what I did is I wrote down, I got so upset, I wrote down on my Google Calendar, I said, in 3 years, I think, or in 4 years, I don't remember exactly, but I wrote it down I scrolled down a few years ahead, and in Google Calendar I said, I'm gonna be making $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month, I don't remember the date. And I forgot about it, but a few years when the Google message popped up and I was making that. So I truly believe that whatever we set our mind to, it really works. Like before I had a Tesla, I would be so focused on it. I was like, oh, I want this color Tesla. And I went ahead and I rented one and I drove it and I felt the feeling, oh yes, I really liked it. And every time I would drive by a Tesla, I was like, oh, Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. So, and when I got a Tesla, now I have a Tesla. This is the feeling is like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. This really does work. Whatever you focus on comes into your life. And then before I even had the houses, I have 2 homes, one in Arizona, one in Seattle. And before I had it, I would go to the lot, and I really liked this one lot where this house is with mountain views. I basically have the biggest lot in the community, and there was a line of people, and they were saying you had to wait in line, and whoever responds first gets the lot. And there were a lot of people, and I would come to this lot, walk around it, and I'm like, I'm so grateful, God, for allowing me to have this property. This is gonna be mine. And I would just walk around it and envision that this would be mine. And it happened to be mine, and I built everything exactly like I wanted, everything as I felt and envisioned. And this is the same in Washington. So you really, really have to focus your energy and be excited and be about, you can't like almost pretend that whatever you're thinking a negative and doubtful thought about how you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you cannot have the things that you want in your life. You almost have to, oh, thank you. Yes, I truly believe it, and I want everybody to experience what I experienced, and we are just, but anyway, I went to the events, and they would have this rubber band that you would place on your hand. Here I have a rubber band, hold on. So like a rubber band, and like I said, remember I was talking about unconsciously incompetent and then consciously incompetent. So when you're when you're learning this, when you're listening to all this negative, when you are talking to yourself negatively, sometimes it's been going for such a long time, you don't realize it, so it's subconscious. You have to start catching yourself that you're talking something like, oh, they're never gonna join my team. You have to snap it so that you feel physical emotion, and quickly replace that thought with your good emotion, which means, yes, they are gonna be on my team. This is the exact opportunity for them. This is the best products for them. I'm the best teammate for them. and things like that. Or like before, I would always focusing, oh my gosh, my teeth are crooked, my nose is crooked, my, whatever, I'm not aligned properly, my whatever. And I would always, like, it was crazy. It was really, really crazy. The things that I remember, I would wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and then I would open the side of the mirror, like on a medicine cabinet. And when you open the side of the mirror, and then you put one mirror behind you, and you see your face like through different angles, and I would look at all these different angles, and it's all not symmetrical. Okay, my face is not symmetrical, and I would look at it, and I would like, oh, this is not straight. This is not straight. Oh my gosh, I'm here. This is not good enough. And I would always like focus on that. I hated my voice. I thought it was so nasal, like I would leave a voice message for somebody on the phone. I would play back the message, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I would hang up. One time, I was selling something on eBay, and I had to do a video for this for that thing that I was selling, and somebody said, oh, you have a cute accent. And I'm like, oh, that person is weird. He thought of my crazy nasal voice that it's a cute accent. So now I'm looking at the same situation. My voice didn't change, okay? But I'm looking at myself and saying, I'm unique and different. I'm really, people are loving my voice. People are loving the sound of my whatever accent. And that's how I look at the same situation. The situation didn't change. That's how the lens we look at. So if you're looking at the lens and you don't like something about yourself, find something that you love about yourself. Start looking in the mirror and say, I love how that I am. And it's not selfish. In Russia, all the women have so low self-confidence because we are deprived of, like, even I posted on my thing today on my timeline, the words that parents tell us becomes our inner voice. And in Russia, parents, it's almost like you're jinxing if you're saying compliments to your kids. You don't want to give them too much compliments because they're not going to be trying hard enough. So it's almost like, and if somebody else says something good about, oh, no, don't say anything good about the kid. You are going to jinx it. And they're doing all of this crazy stuff. So not a lot of people have a lot of confidence. So when I started learning all of this personal development, it was like, you have to love yourself first. You have to love everything about you to help other people. And it's not selfish. It's not selfish. You're not the center of the universe. You're not ignorant. You're not a jerk. No, you have to really, really start loving yourself. And it will also help you in your relationship, because a lot of people trying to find somebody else for them to start feeling good about themselves. And even when I was going through the divorce, I went to a Bible study, and they said a lot of people trying to fill the void to have somebody else for them to feel good about themselves. No, you have to feel good about yourself just by yourself. Start loving yourself without anybody else, and then you will attract somebody else who will improve and improve your life without trying to, you almost have to start the self-healing, self-loving process in order to become a person where everybody wants to be around you. And it's not only for business, it's for anything else in your life and in business as well. So, and start healing, start meditating, start visualization, start expecting good things for your business with good energy. Anytime you doubt, maybe you want to do the trick, because it takes 30 days to form a new habit. A lot of people are already in a habit of thinking negatively. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly. Yes, personal development, it's like you have to constantly reprogram it. Our world is so focused on the negative and gossip that we have to constantly reprogram it, and daily listen to something that inspires you, or look at pictures. Like dream boarding is important. I put a lot of pictures that really creates a good emotion and inspiration and really good feeling, and I I do that. I save all these pictures. I have a folder on my computer of the things that I love, and all this, what is it? Affirmations. Like, I was writing it down, things that, I'll be inspiring other people, a person without education, my story will be inspiring to others. And I was writing it down, I was crying. No, I had like 3 people, like I said, on my team. My ex-husband was laughing, and it all came true. As long as you guys focus on something that you really, really want, and it's not just, oh, I want to make more money. You have to figure out what you will do with the money, or how it will make you feel when you are living in the house that you love, or driving the car that you love, or you're spending your time with the people around you that you love, and you're choosing the time. Like, if you want alone time to to meditate or to just be calm, you have the time to do that. You're not rushing, in the world that we live in. It's crazy. But thank you so much for everybody's time that joined us. I truly proud of you guys. Like I said, you're doing all the right activities. I love you guys doing the events. It's really, really important. Attending events, training your mind, being around positive people, sharing your story is really, really important. And I can't wait to see you in September. And just remember, every single one of us, pretend, let's say 5-10 years from now, you are gonna be sharing your story with the people that you touch. So if you have a hard time right now and you're not in a good place right now, imagine the harder the situation right now, the more inspiring it will be to others when you overcome your situation. Thank you. Thank you again, everybody. And I will see you next time. Maybe we'll do some more trainings. I love talking to you guys. Okay, bye-bye.